Hi, movie explain here. Today I am going to explain an American science fiction action film called John Carter. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The movie starts on a strange planet called Borsum. The planet consists of three major kingdoms called the Helium, Zodanga, and the Turks. Helium and Zodanga have been at war for centuries. At the beginning of the movie, we see that the army of Helium is in blue caves battling the army of Zodanga in red caves. The general of Zodanga, named Sapthon, is approached by three men who claims to be the messenger of gold called Thurn. The Thurn's leader, Matthias Shang, gives him a mysterious blue weapon and tells him that he has been chosen by the goddess to receive it. The Thurns decide to help Zodanga in the war. They possess control over a mysterious blue light called the Ninth Ray, which makes them stronger than any other living creature on Borsum. The scene cuts to New York City in 1881. A man named Edgar is summoned by his uncle named John Carter to New York City. When Edgar drops at the station, he is greeted by John's butler, who takes him to John's estate. As it turns out, John is a wealthy man and a former Confederate Army captain. John's lawyer sadly informs Edgar of John's sudden death. John has left all his numerous wealth to Edgar. The lawyer then takes a surprised Edgar to John's mausoleum, where his body is being preserved. But strangely, the door of the mausoleum only opens from the inside. Later, John hands Edgar a personal diary of John, which John only wanted to read. When the lawyer leaves, he started reading it. It begins by mentioning that Edgar was the only one who believed John's wild stories when he was little. So it only feels right to tell his story, Edgar. The story starts in Arizona after the Civil War. John Carter is a former captain in the Confederate Army who currently looks for gold in caves. Powell is a Union colonel who wants John to help his US cavalry soldiers against the Apache, so he abducts him and tries drafting him as a soldier. However, John doesn't want to fight as a soldier anymore. After several failed attempts of running away, he manages to escape by knocking a god and stealing the colonel's horse. The colonel and the men get into a shootout with the people. John tries running away amidst the chaos, but the colonel gets injured in the fight. He helps the colonel out of pity and brings him near a cave. The cave is new to John, as he never come here to search for gold. He goes inside, lights a match, and is beyond surprised to see lots of gold embedded on the roof of the cave. However, just then a man behind him appears out of nowhere. The man is one of the Thurns we saw in the beginning of the movie. The colonel arrests John, who gets into a fight with a strange man. He shoots the man, making him fall to the ground. When John goes near him, he says the word man say Borsum. While looking at the strange medallion in his hands, John picks up the medallion and repeats the word Borsum. Suddenly, a blue light flashes out of the locket. When John opens his eyes again, he is in a strange desert. He gets up and tries walking, but falls in every step. He seems as though he can float mid-air, confused, practically walking in the new environment. As he walks, he reaches a hill nearby where he sees several eggs hatching. Just then, a large group of green creatures with 6 limbs appears riding on massive animals. The leader attacks him, making John take a huge leap. The rest starts firing at John, but stops when the leader asks them to. The creature speaks in a different language and introduces himself as Starstackers. John introduces himself as John Carter from Virginia, but the creature deciphers that his name is Virginia. Tars asks John to jump as he did before, but he denies and attacks him. The creature injures John and holds him hostage. As they talk, we get to know that their kind is called Turks. Elsewhere on the same planet, the princess of the city of Helium, Deja, practices presenting a weapon she has designed to her father, the king of Helium. Helium is at war with another city called Zodanga and is about to lose because of Thurns being on Zodanga's side. Deja has figured out the secret of the Ninth Ray used by the Zodanga to fight the war. However, when she shows her weapon to the king, a man secretly causes a malfunction, causing it to explode. The king of Zodanga, Saptan, wants to marry Deja for the war to end, but she is extremely against it. If Saptan marries her, he will be the prince of Helium and will have the power to rule all of Borsum. Meanwhile, the Thugs take John to their city and puts him in the newly born infants. At night, a female Thug called Sola feeds John a liquid, after which he can understand the language of Thugs. The following day, the Thugs order John to jump in front of everyone. John notices that the medallion is with Tarkus and without it he cannot go back home. Then two battleships appear in the sky. The Helium and the Sudanga are battling each other. The war is entertainment to the thugs, who bet on who will win. We see Princess Deja fighting in the ships. She tries to control the ship but falls off it in the process. John, using his newfound jumping powers, saves the princess. The thugs start cheering for John, who is now fighting for Sudanga soldiers along with Deja. John manages to change the course of the fight, making the Helium win, but the ship crashes as well. Deja and John are with the thugs. Taukas is impressed by John's ability and makes him his right hand man. John is reluctant to the idea, but doesn't disagree. At night, Deja and John walk, and Deja reveals to John that they are Mons, which is called Borsum in the language. John is surprised and doesn't believe her. He tells her that he is from the earth. Deja too finds it hard to believe. Because of his thicker bone density and planet's low gravity, Kotal has incredible strength and can leap high. Deja then takes him to the Thawk's temple, where no humans are allowed to go. She hopes that the temple has a way to know her people can travel through worlds. As John did, the kind female Turk, Sola, goes behind them begging them to stop. Deja shows John the statue of the goddess Isis and reads some mockings engraved in it. However, the three of them are soon arrested by the Thawks and sentenced to death for entering the temple. Turkus asks everyone to leave him alone with the prisoners in a cell in order to cut John's hands off. When they are alone, he reveals that he is Sola's father and doesn't want them to die at the hands of the Thawks. He hands John his medallion and asks him to leave to go to the river Is to solve the mystery of the goddess Isis and get back to his world. When the Turks look into the room after some time, they see that the Turkus has betrayed them. Turkus' enemy, Tal Hajjus, takes charge and declares himself as new leader. Then we see John, Deja, and Sola heading to the river Is. Deja is leading the way. However, Sola tells John that she is leading them towards the city of Helium instead of the river. John confronts her about it, and it turns out that she was taking him to the city to use him as a soldier in the war. Disappointed, John asks Sola to lead the way and leaves the princess there. Deja insists that she only did it because she doesn't want to marry Sapthon. He asks her to accompany him to the river. With no other way out, she agrees. The three sail through the river of Is and reach a massive inverted pyramid. John and Deja go on to the top of it and see a strange blue energy forming on the ground. Deja realizes that it is the power of the ninth ray that she had made her weapon from. They also realize that Cotter's appearance on Mars is likely due to the transmission of a copy of himself from Earth to Mars. With the help of the ninth ray, just then an army of warhounds approaches, led by Matthias Shang, the leader of the Thuns. John bravely tells Deja and Sola to run away and fights the army of warhounds himself. The king of Helium sends his army to John's aid, who defeats the warhounds and saves him. They takes an injured John to Helium. Deja reaches her home and meets her father. She is surprised to see the king of Sudanga, Sapthon, there. He has come with no weapons and soldiers to ask Deja to marry him and end the war. Deja doesn't have any way to stop the war, so she reluctantly agrees to marry him. In the following scene, we see John resting in the chamber in Helium's place. A soldier appointed by Deja fetches him and secretly takes him to her chamber. Deja asks John to go back to his home using the medallion. When the gods enter her chamber, John disappears. Deja thinks that he went back to the earth, but John is hiding actually from the soldiers. When they leave, he tries going outside, but is soon caught by Matthias Shang. John is surprised by Matthias Shang's ability to change into any creatures around him. The whole city is preparing for the wedding of Sapthon and Deja. Matthias Shang binds John to himself with the help of a technology developed by the Anthre. John is unable to move his body to his will. Matthias Shang seems to be controlling him with his wrist device. Matthias Shang then reveals to him that Sapthon is planning to kill Deja and invade Helium after the marriage. The Thun took his side in the war because Sapthon was the easiest to manipulate, but Matthias Shang's real aim is to rule all of Borsum through Sapthon. Matthias Shang is about to kill John when an alien dog John had befriended earlier comes to his rescue. It bites off Matthias Shang's wrist device, letting John free. He hurries to a flying craft and flies away to stop Deja from marrying Sapthon. However, John doesn't know how to control the aircraft and crashes lands near the Thawk's territory. They hold him captive with a beaten Turkus. Tall Hedges, who is now the leader of the dogs, puts John and Turkus with massive beasts called the White Apes. John somehow manages to capture the apes in front of the whole Thawk's population. He then invites Tall Hedges to fight him and defeat him in one go. Everyone cheers for John, who is now the new leader of the Turkus. He then persuades them to help them fight the Zudanga. The army of thugs and John make their way to Deja and Sapthon's wedding ceremony. John reaches there just in time to stop the wedding. Seeing him, Sapthon tries to kill Deja, but John stops him just in time. A war between the soldiers of two cities erupts again. However, the thugs on the side of Helium now. The Zudanga soon loses, but Matthias Strong manages to escape with John's medallion. John plans to leave one more as Deja's husband, so he doesn't bother to look for the medallion. He and Deja get married and crowd cheers for them. He is now the prince of Helium. The following morning, John and Deja on a balcony. Deja leaves John outside and goes into the room. When Matthias Strong appears, John tries to fight him, but he uses the medallion to send John back to Earth. When John wakes up, he is covered in dust and his beard has grown long. He is in the same cave and looks towards Colonel Powell to see his remains, suggesting that a long time has passed in the Earth while he was on Mars. He looks around for a medallion but doesn't find it. He has no way to go back. The gold embedded in the cave makes him wealthy. He knows that there are more medallions on Earth. He starts a mining operation and searches for the medallion for the next 10 years, until one day he finds on a site. John is delighted, but he knows that the Terns have been keeping an eye on him all the time. His body on the Earth must be protected when he goes to Mars, because any harm on it will cause him to die on both planets. That is why his mausoleum only opens from the inside. He had architected his stage to return back to Mars. John writes in a diary that he wants Edgar to protect his mausoleum from the Terns in turn of the wealth. Edgar is in shock after reading the diary. He goes out to the mausoleum and tries opening with a secret password, which turns to be Need. The John called Edgar when he was a kid. As the doors to the mausoleum open, a Tern approaches Edgar. He had been spying on Edgar, waiting to kill John. However, before he can harm Edgar, someone from behind knocks him out. Edgar is behind, surprised to see his uncle in front of him. John takes the Tern's medallion. As it turns out, he had never found the medallion. All this, including his death, was faked to attract the Tern and acquire his medallion. John asks Edgar to protect his mausoleum from now onwards and goes inside it. He lies on a bed with the medallion and says the chanting that will take him to back to the Mars again. Subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on the notification and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.